Sky Power Radio and TV Services Studios, West Yorkshire, Leeds, Stencil Mountain. Welcome on board our weekly civic education program. At the seat, my name is Mustafa Jame. Yo, assalamualaikum bading uluk ngal kontong mobe dauda anibe watu watitu. Kontong kolans nal bismillah na programa min kaso jang lokung lokun ninyan tambensida civic education program. Badi malam Mustafa Jame membesiring program okun nanyan tambeng. Boki degul kati ñu la di nuyu fi ci Sky Power Radio and TV Services Baco Studios West Yorkshire Leeds Stencil Mountain. Kunti program civic education program anak senarit Mustafa Jame nekalan fi ci rajabi. Okay, comme dalta ka kenya men loko ni yan temben si dan ka alfal soton fe min ya lon ko ka je ko sula ko men minti banko kan sutu ko min bedanding Gambia banko la karolan ke taran fe jang loko na civic education team ko taran jang to kamol kono to dia ko la mi ya lon ko wollon sula ko wolti ibebe mfela bi dol man nana mun ya lon ko e bulo mutata pada mini ben fe follow jama ngala vela ka follow ngala ladies first ngala vela ka follow musol la baake jama baningo fo ndey do biya daga aka microphone o murning kan na voluntangol follow bani kumbo nyama follow ndey I'll leave you with the microphone ilaf na la nyama sa atamindi o nyama ndey inimbara.
I think we should do our visitors all for luntangol first.
Okay, no problem. So, ngalundang minsuron fe bi olom galala atondi la spokesperson ti minkeda Umar Saibo kamarati. Umar follow ba minkelam beten to la famfan kimbeje le wato minta purkana kataram fe jambi Sky Power Radio and TV Services based in UK Paris. Gambia kul nkole jibe nkole kacha jama. Yinom sinya follow ti purkana nanjang although Umar adesso to kolea bakele for some reason ngamara you need to work on that, but nonetheless memin kela Omar sebula inen lamoy lal ning gibe lal ñoo konto nefon on mute and then senadum kacha kon Omar inimbar.
All right, abaraka bake Mustafa and ben ko parizul kontona antim day Uncle Sol and Assis mbafla be ko alnimbara and be lamola nin giberal be kontona akadanya kontane kubati ka join the civic education band bajang bi ka kacal ke mumbe dending galala dogo Kenya la bari probably fanambe kol kacal mumbe dending bankola sambar nyala nin kol melengola nsoto ka kole yalo Gala is the people's movement ye doku ballet na melon ko sometimes I find it very difficult to navigate through. But you know, I will work on that, and inshallah, I look forward kacha kumare musoto mun fana be mol karandi la fana nyo hakilo warani mumbe tending galala doko bundala nin Gambia banko fon la nyato ta nin nyanto mumbe dendi wala abaraka bake
On night.
Maybe Saul Nata.
Okay. We'll leave it to Saul. Yes, greetings, Saul Baji, Mr. Baji.
Greetings to Mustafa Ndei, Umar Saibo, and Brother Assis. Ngal be kontong, balum faranga diam sura kang bari sayung kay Umari mandika kang fo. Magi nuyu mbokk yi déglu di seetaan programme bi di Sky Power di gërëm suma brother bi Mustafa yàgg naa def lii nag di rafetlu taxawaay bi suma sister Ndey Jobaate am waaw kër moom du dox lu du jigéen nekkut fa rek di ko jàppale te loolu moom lu wér la ñun ñëpp ñu ngi see teg suñ bët am naa Ndey dafa busy Ndey has a lot to take care of waaye mu ngi comment di bind her thoughts and feelings. Facebook every Sunday yaakaar naa mu ngi ñëw fii Sky Power di bàyyi soxlaa mi di ñëw di waxtaan mbiri Gambia loo xam ne daf ñu ñor parce que soo gisee ñuy def lii I think we failed in 2016, which is the reason why ñu dellu si waat they book a fix this problem and it's taken us another 10 years pour ñu kéem koo fix. But maa ngi rafetlu taxawaay bi ak brother Aziz, I think for the first time maa ngi ko meet. The face looks familiar, but anyway. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a humbling situation. So later for bari at 2 o'clock, Wahna Mustafa at 2 o'clock. We have coalition for system change. And Morsaibo and all of these other entities at some point, they're going to hear from us where we bring all of our groups together, like-minded. But at some point, the PR public relations officer, Maila Toure, will be coming out along with Keba Walifun to talk to the Gambians about what we have been doing in the background. There's a lot of work that we're doing. So 2 o'clock, the man put them for us to have the executive meeting, Basiman, my secretary. So I will be here for another 40 minutes, inshallah, but I will contribute the best I can. And I promise Mustafa that I'll try to come as much as I can to participate, because the more the merrier. Jerejef.
Much obliged, Jerejef. I'm not solo. Okay, Ndai?
Yeah, Mange just want Jerejef everybody and Saul, thank you. Omar abarkabake e nata jambi because bi fango lon kuma baleti ko mbesiri njan nin dokol nin dingol nin domal si nga kacha nga fo mole sa entol keba talento lafta retire lale isaje altol ya ta oval na buri and nti woke no le ninta fon comfortable to like menje is very positive among easy na because ni be kelo kan ni be organization o ni ba ron na kafo ni ba borindila aman sonaya mol si tara jeme yalon ko ini hammo manke kilinti dol si tara jeme hammo man tara kilinti dol si tara je hammo be kilinti dol si tara je just put tinyaro bari menka kumaya wala mo ko ite believe ta menna ila sondo moment al wulita menkan al lota kan katu nin Gambia beteata bi altolla generational lem saying ntol ngam menno kal support katara al koma kal pus ngam menno be wala kala bari saying altolla generation because ko ñu julol be ñin tiñaro be altolla bina be kola altolla bina be tala ntol saying sambi be futara retirement ngalo ngata si but wo support bi jele an safo ko really mbafala ala bake ala mutaje abuka sonaya abuka easy but the most important wolem lamoyro karango and then resilient ka focus mo canal drill albe men kono gambelem anda molbe bal noma kebal alfal molbe jamale katara al normala an alyemen londi wolem mbafala abarka bake sol ndefananke folole ka ku jamale ke be saferola fantastic job comment culture and also education iman danjiro you have the educational side as well karan dula ka dindingol fanang gena yamandi karan culture women important fanang and yemen folem to nyati 2016 ndeka fole ko the goal nga wosotole kada baro bondi sorry ka ala manga bondi ka ya jame bondi wole mun na goal ti 2016 nga wokele ndeka fol mole ndema regret because wolem goal ti ka bondi the goal ko ka system change ka be nati woman nata but the monster nga bondi le sayingal space sotole me alon ko jamasi bokanole jamasi tarano kelo kanne jamasi ku jamasi kenole wo space on be wole kala abarka ba ke sol ana barka yela time nati kana ngalon ko amang easy buka sona ya boringo and Europe jang we can no jama ka time was not mo ka bunkol ke dimbaya la kol but hanibi Gambia surwa ko nyaade ñoko ñor dal ñoñu ko ñor Aziz abarka bake all the time katarajang with Aziz Suleiman Bamba Mas member tarajang and Alaji Baroso katarajang to comment about things because situation be nyame nga jele fo nga wuli nga call seneyandi nga call kuma abarka bake and Mustafa abarka bake boringo amang easy temen ka be coordinate bo borila mol noma dol buke danku dole danku call be but you still you can hold on there, definitely, Abarkabake. Yes.
Thank you very much, Day Baraka. Aziz.
I would like to pass my introduction just so say sometimes sort of for Saul to kind of we can get the best time for Suleiman, who said he has only 40 minutes. So I give him my 2 minutes introduction added to the 40 minutes. But just to say that we cannot have two Jolas here and no one speaks in Jola.
Malagan, yes.
Go ahead now.
Malagan, Aziz. I like that. Right. Omar, if you can switch your microphone on, your camera and microphone, Omar, if you're there, Omar Saibo camera. Okay. Can you hear me, Omar?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great stuff. Okay, great stuff. Omar, Gala. Why Gala? And then Gala, Nico Gala, Yalon Kwoku in on this planet, you know, in journalism or wherever you go, whatever you do, you need to, before you get into it, you need to know the meaning of it, the definition of it, and the reason for it, establishment, that sort of thing. So, Nisa Fonon be why Gala, wala nimba fala mandika kang munum Gala la long kang dalilot, Gala lota mun dalila kang munad na lot.
Baraka Baka Mustafa. I'm also no money can go Colombo sometimes, right? Excuse me.
No, speak in English if you can.
Gala Lota Munkam force Gala Munel Gambians against looted assets. Nigo Gambia against looted assets, maybe Nimbo. Okay, so what we mean by Gambians against looted assets is Gala emerged out of anger. That's my preamble all the time. And when we say Gala is a collection of young Gambians that felt cheated on, that felt looted on, that felt corruption has claimed the future of our country, and then we want to stop that. Gala emerged out of anger. What was the anger? Mustafa, there is always a point of correction, and Saul or somebody talks about how the 2016 collective fight failed us. We were small at the time. I started my university education. My father was deputy governor, probably close to corridor of power. But I joined the masses to say that Yahya Jammeh had to go after all what he has done and made it on Gambians, both physically, financially, for 22 years. Fast forward, we attempted to create a Gambia where rights and freedom are respected, a Gambia where both political and economic rights are well respected, a Gambia where people live in dignified life, where leadership is not about self-entrenchment, rather service to the people, not just service, but effective and efficient service to the people. Moving forward, this dream have been killed by the very people who campaign on the premises of putting the Gambia on the path to progress and development. People like Antinde, people like Sol that were part of the struggle that could recall the campaign manifesto of the coalition then was promising. We all see that the Gambia will take a path where transportation, where basic necessities, healthcare system, our educational system, where we break the mantle of inequality in our society. We needed a system to do this. And part of the system is that in every post-dictatorship or post-war, there is all what we need to establish called the transitional justice process. And then based on the country situation, you establish mechanisms that transit us from a particular system, a dictatorship, to more of a democratic dispensation. And we establish the TRRC, we establish the CRC. But most importantly, Jammeh was not just accused of killing and human rights violations and brutality. He was also accused of economic crimes. and we said, okay, we need a commission of inquiries to look into all of the illegal financial mismanagement and resources gathered by Jammeh. Moving forward, there was hope. We have listened to the TRRC and the testimonies. We have listened to the Janet Commission and how we were robbed broad daylight in this country, where one man claimed ownership of our country, of our life, of our properties, of our resources. Then when we know the truth, there's always a way out. Even in our local context, even at home, because there is a way out. We all agree on this. Moving forward, fast forward, just to let you know that there have been claims that the process that need to take us to the right path, in fact, is not the right process. Individual accusations, claims were made, but okay, at that point, we just wanted to see how the process ended. The Janet Commission ended. Reports submitted to the president. We have seen foul play of people found culpable. We are supposed to be punished, we are not punished, but absorbed into a system that was meant to clean. Right? How about people that were part of the enablers of the then regime that you replaced because you want to give us better services? All of these talks were defended because that's one thing about governance, right? And the political participation is like that. Whilst things go right, wrong for you, another person accepts that because I'm easily absorbed by the system, what is happening is right. But you see what happens in the first week of May after the Republic released an investigative report. The sellers were the buyers. Send a signal. What signal does it send? Mustafa, I will tell you. I did political science and I was highly involved into the Gambia's transitional justice process. And I study about transitions, especially asset recovery. I keep saying this, Gambia continue to make headlines for the wrong reasons. Imagine a commission tasked to investigate economic crimes have been found wanting of doing worse than the people they are investigating. That was not just a moment of frustration. It's not just a moment of anger. It's a moment of disappointment, knowing where we came from and how people stood by their grounds in 2026 for a change of government. Corruption becomes rampant, but not just rampant.
That don't surprise me. Internet connection back home in the Gambia. Right. Notwithstanding, nonetheless, what we'll do, Saul, I'm not solo thorough, but your thoughts. I thought Omar has started, giving us the definition about Gala and why Gala and all that, because he got limited time. Your thoughts, Saul.
Well, my thoughts are deep, emotionally. I think about these young people, and I look at Omar, having met this young man sitting right next to me, to my left in the National
Is that
Assembly.
me?
Yeah, Omar, you can go ahead. I'm going to recommend Mustafa. Sometimes, with my experience with the for the people by the people, sometimes because of the internet, the poor internet, you might be better off just him not having the video or just using the audio. That's just something I'll tell you. But Omar, go ahead. I send it back to you.
Omar, I'm not sure if we're hearing you.
No, there's a delay. About that.
Right.
15-second delay.
I was just trying to give the context of how Gala emerged. So when we read that report, that the Janet Commission, and then yes, so when people have been accused of how the Janet Commission have been run and all of that, and all of a sudden a report came out to vindicate some of those claims. And what this shows is that the affairs of the state have been entrusted into people that are no better than the people they replaced. What should we do? Because we know randomly corruption have been a religion in this country. Corruption is a religion. And nothing comes out of it. The president will take excuses for corruption. Audit reports will be produced in this country. People will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's connected.
It's the same thing, yeah, the same thing, Yeah, right.
Was saying
The same
Saul was
internet, yeah. So we'll see. We'll try audio in there. Yes, but Saul, your thoughts. I know they're deep and massive, but if you can, enlighten us a bit about your thoughts. Omar is back again. Yeah. Yes, Omar.
Yes.
I
Right.
think
So that's what happens. We read the report. We come to realize that okay, the Jana Commission make recommendations. Individuals, institutional reforms, and then the president and the government did not take any of these things serious. So if this report comes out, this is a vindication that in fact the government is not serious about corruption and the fight for corruption in this country. What could we do? We have like what we are doing right now on social media, the likes of Madi, the likes of Nene that we have been watching from far. A lot of people have written. Sometimes we'll joke, right? Like Dr. Sister will say, they will come and write thesis. There's nothing we have not written about. There is nothing we have not talked about. There is no media house, even us, the younger ones in this country have not gone to caution this government that the sole purpose of a government, because the governance is on the principles of three pillars: transparency, accountability, and the rule of law. If that is absent, it becomes a mafia government that is run by a group of cabal for their personal interests. And we're like, look, this time around, we're not going to take the social media. What we need to take is the streets. Because people like us as well, that have been in the streets a couple of times before the Gala protests 2018, and also have at least stepped out of this country and read about democracy at
Mustafa, I think we have to proceed with Saul because otherwise it's going to take long.
Yeah, we'll talk with Saul,
but
and then you take
also
the
advising when he comes back, let him use audio instead of video.
yeah,
But,
maybe you will fix that.
this is going to take the rest of the time. Looking at the time, given what Saul tells us,
That's right.
not to
Yes.
even make any significant contribution.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, your thoughts?
Well, thank you very much, Mustafa. It saddens me, number one, that we have a country. If you look at all the other countries, Mustafa, there's barely a country that you will find where people are using social media to communicate on Facebook or Skype, where the internet is doing what it's doing. And it's been doing that for the past 4 or 5 years.
That's right.
And we say we have a nation that is developing. And this nation is not developing, it's regressing, whether we recognize that or not. The sad part about listening to Umar is Mustafa, Aziz, and these kids were traumatized. There was physical damage to these kids, emotional and psychological damage because of the 22 years of Yahya Jammeh, whether we recognize it or not. And what Umar Saibo was just saying, Umar, and I'll come back to you in a little bit so you can finish your statement. But what Umar was saying is this. In 2016, when the coalition signed the MOU with our support, Adama Barrow was out campaigning. And these young people, him included, I did not see him personally, but I know he was part of the group that said, Mbawulenke manta bakwe tala Adama Barrow ganyetal. We remember that song. We do remember that song.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Kids started taking the back way. 60 kids died. They were fooled to get on a boat to go. They perished in Mauritania, and the kids continue to die. Meanwhile, our education system, to this day, we have not been able to achieve more than 5% of kids passing 5 credits or better, including math and English. 9 years, going to 10 years, Armaboro more fixed now. And he keeps pumping money into a system. It's like you have a wound, and instead of cleaning it up and applying what you would call the antibiotics into your system, you just clean up the wound and add salt to it and assume that the wound is going to cure itself. Bo problem wala kono. Nyaje indi nungol be fintila bi. Ntega fole nkoko. They become a liability or they become a good asset for us. I call these young people these young people, these are the golden opportunity that Africa has had. You look at the population of these youth, they're like 60 to 65% of them. Then you add the women folk there. Nim problemo kira banko to kelo kira dawo daranding. Jumanyo lekabata. Alfa lom musol nindinol. So these kids really have done what we have not been able to do. In 2018, I had one of my programs and I was talking to MB Krubali at the time when Adama Barrow was elected. We were arguing over the fact that we don't think Adama Barrow is doing what he has been elected to do. And these are the things that this young man is talking about. Adama Barrow was not elected, in my opinion, after all these years, to do nothing but system change. He would have implemented electoral laws. Solo Sandem Fata Menkema. Anyanta wale kelonung, number one priority. I corruption bondi, like this young man is talking about those three pillars: transparency, accountability, and rule of law. If Adama Barrow stood by those, I forgot constitutional me ya jame ya kejang. Malafi men number bondi la in the meantime while we talk about the 2020 draft or 2021 draft constitution. Ngol be bondi je because they were able to change some things. It had a parliament le cool door falinje. And this blame goes across the board, including all the political parties, many along the National Assembly, the coalition, including us. In the diaspora, we contributed our money, over $1 million, I believe, something like that. And then we went to sleep, Mustafa. This is why we're back doing this, and it's going to be very difficult. Audio, video, GBB. Take one thing for granted. I have talked to somebody, and I'm going to name the name. Uncle Sidia Jatanga interviewed privately, and I'm keeping that audio. I meant for this time around, Ninga Miracle Arma Boro Bondije, the way we're doing it, because it's going to be easier than Yajam. We must be fooling ourselves. I think we all see what's happening right now. So these young people, this is the catalyst that is going to change and break the camel's back. If a lot of support, Ndede ni juka sise call from BMG akonyo contribution. Na men for nyankadialan. I cut my other expenses no contribution okay because they are representing us on the ground. In diningol lebenin problemo fixla because they are going to say, and we know this. Ndolbe nyula ne musaba. In any revolution, the vanguards are the youths who come and say we are changing the trajectory because this is not going to help us. And that is what GALA is going to do in a nutshell. Adama Barrow nyanta electoral laws change, civil service laws, and nyanta will change. Prisons. Look at these young people. You go to the prisons, it's like it's so nasty. Even an animal shouldn't survive, shouldn't be in that lockup place. But abijele adateje every day ndol kamemwe Adama Barrow kamenke how he can entrench himself, going for elections. He does not care about the daily bread, the bread and butter issue of the country. I come for Dr. Cisse, Nika be Gambia, Malako Gambia, progress can. And the other day, Janimba, before I land, I have somebody who was in Gambia with me who came back and said, Saul, I have been in the Gambia for 2.5 months. If you want to have a good square meal, which is something that should be healthy for you, you must spend $1,000 a day. $1,000 is a day, that's $30,000 is a month. Below, look at the internet. Ask Umar Saibo how much he's paying. $1,500 is $2,500 in Kawalejo, putting a family internet Wi-Fi in their house. I mean, this is crazy. And the internet is still as terrible as it is. They didn't need to fly out through Gambia. I've not flown through Gambia in several years. When I stay in Dakar like 2 years ago, I bought data for 500 CFA. Now used it for 6 days from Gambia, Murtanang, they were still left over. But the Gambia, every 2 days, $100 is in Kawalaki. And I have Wi-Fi at home. So evidently it turns out I can only use it to make phone calls. Ninga telephone damake. 1.5 days and I'm on the phone all the time. So you're looking at like say maybe $500. Then I add data because you have to pay $100 to have extra data, may allow to go to WhatsApp and do all these things. The internet is terrible. These young people are going to college. These are supposed to be the people who build the nation. Never internet on school, you're downloading information that you want to review. It takes you so long for you to download that information. But these people want to create problems. The problem is Adama Barrow, Mustafa, Aziz, and Dey. We all know this. And these young people, if we empower them, they will bring the change that we want. Ninga okay. we will return our country back to where it should have been in 2016. Thank you.
Thank you, Saul. Before you go, I know you not got much time, but before you go, Saul, the problem is Adama Barrow. Yes, okay, we know the problem. We established the problem. Okay, Adama Barrow has got enablers, people who support him. There's this thing in the Gambia that we need to, do away with, which is like this family ties, Terikafo, the so-called elites, and that sort of thing. These are something that is also a factor to this. So you think Adama Barrow is there? He's the leader. Yes, he can do it. But he's got people, Minya surround, Minika enable, Minika empower, Minika sembentuya, Minya longo. It's like so need to be in the government. Ikamani boto nim fengol dingten in the family la walla, Teri kafomo walla family ties be. I rather support you eating Adama Barrow because water controller nintamantaraje will. So how do we resolve this? And where do we start? Although Gala is here, yes, on track with that, but the resolution, how do we resolve this? So the problem is there, we know it.
The resolution is we have a country that's failing, and like you said, we all know the problem. Adama Barrow, to some extent, and all the failures and the incompetence, he knows how to bring people who made Yaya Jammeh what he was. If we feel that Adama Barrow will not end up going to the length of doing things that Yaya Jammeh did, as much as Yaya Jammeh make it, but he will push himself to do things because those bad elements, many are surround. You have to do this. I believe Adama Barrow may be incompetent. But people are there telling him you have to do this. He's a prisoner. Trust me. He is a prisoner at that state house because of these businesses and the people that have given him money to corrupt the system. The way we fight this system, Mustafa, one of the things in the Nungale Menke, Biriye arrest, we need to continue to do that. We boycott Jar Oil and these other two cement companies on many alongo. Illegally, this is one issue. Adama Barrow okay, motor cement one from Senegal will be how many businesses and jobs has he cost? Menka cement one. Don't forget, the Lord diaspora boys will be cement one in Senegal, Wafi Gambia. Where's the law that gave Adama Barrow the power to do that? Where's the law that gave Adama Barrow the power to give this guy, Kadim Gay, the $30-something million to do that Banjul project without going to parliament? Where's the law that gave Adama Barrow the power to take a bribe from this Senegalese guy in an SUV? Let me talk about this very important thing. The Ndual sign, they're beginning to poke their fingers in these what do you call it? This act this law enforcement act. What do they call the law enforcement act? The Public Order Act.
Public Order Act.
Because they know what the Public Order Act says. They can tell what is legal and what is illegal. And I keep saying this, Mustafa. Nim police all nada e ko be diningol disperse when they are within their rights to do what they do. Then the kids should refuse, because law enforcement is enforcing the law. You don't go to people and say, I'm hearing some reports, somebody's calling me from above. No more from Barata. So resistance is one issue. The other thing is, Mustafa, to answer your question, the National Assembly, Imam Sisi member coming for let them go to parliament and do the needful. That is, to change the laws and hold Adama Barrow accountable. And if they refuse to do that, the next election, let the kids continue to go out and advocate and protest. That is what is going to force Adama Barrow to rethink. For 10 years, it's time for him to go. Finally, Mustafa, we must now start to advocate for Adama Barrow to step aside, let him pick somebody from the NPP to represent his party. And if he doesn't do that, we galvanize and form a coalition, which is what we're doing. Come election day, when he realizes he's not going to win, if he wants to negotiate, he's going to have to wait until after the elections. Then we impose our will. If the courts don't do it, we fire the judges and hire competent people to do the needful. and hold people accountable. That's my answer.
Thank you. Precisely. Okay. Before it, because this is very important. We'll come to you, Aziz. Police keba bijan mi alonko ade police fanaf sabo beleke Jawara time, Yame time, aning Adam Baro time, Akujama Longol Bedo. Aziz, we'll come to you shortly. But before you go, so the way forward, Saul, is to boycott, demonstrate, refuse, and restrain. If I understand, yeah.
Correct. This is what people do. This is what Martin Luther King did. This is what people did in South Africa. It has to be an all-inclusive. The diaspora would have access to funding. Now, will advocate, we give them the funds, and we help them, we give them advice, we direct them and tell them how to do, but let them do what they think is best for them, because the future is in their hands. But you're talking about these issues, Mustafa, we boycott AfriCell, we boycott these three cement companies. There has to be pain. Ninkombe, democracy, they will tell you this, this. It's not free, my friends. Democracy is not free, and it's very painful, and it takes a long time, and people die because they want to change the system so that everybody can have the freedom. Memang fala Gambia na wala minduko. Membe kerim bi. Ibrahim Silla nyol ni mol be yimoto expensive ndol borindila at your expense. Adama Barrow is earning $500,000 a month. Now you just saw what they're doing to the judges. What is the average Gambian earning? I saw a lady in Banjul at the Barra terminal, she had a bucket. Abe juice wife can enjoy. Ngasanga bulunkaiko. Mune dimi. Akonyoko, is he interviewing, but don't put it on TikTok, because if you do a video, then you're going to put it on TikTok. So I interviewed her privately. Akonyoko, police all kanajane, yen taramben na wafirola, yen be rangmase, yen samba police. Yen jondi $1,000 is like Kambulang Ananang. Where's the law that says they can do that? I told nga message to lawyer you need to do something about it. But what can he do? What can she do? It is the government that is imposing by using that guy, Mane guy, and all of these people. Kamol Ramase ke Samba. She did to pay for my school or to supplement my stepfather. That's how I became who I am today. So if I see that it's emotional for me, Armabaroma respects, so he has no regard for the women folk. Kataka Musol Ramase. What did he do to create an avenue? Put in Musolesi, Yela Firoke. That's an economic impact. So Musol educate Kafoeko. More kind of electional kateo for Armaboro. The youth know what to do. They're not going to vote for this guy. They want somebody competent. Whether these political parties recognize that or not, they're not going for any of these free fall, vote for me on that. These kids are not going to do that because they're exposed to the international community. They know what is happening in other countries. And that is how we fight this fight and remove the change, or in place, put in place the change that we want. Mustafa.
Omar seems to have very good signal now. The network seems to be stable or stabilized. But I know, Saul, I've given you this time. Let me give you extra 2 minutes on this one here. Yemin Nifojang. So, Saul, this is not easy, because to boycott, I don't know. Yakumo min Fojang exactly. Alaji Baro Olafanya. Alaji say the Baro similar to that. Afana Olafako. Things a easy. It's not gonna come that easy. Fun sake. But bring a war for. We got message from from wherever high authorities call. Iko nyim platform all after Gambia Janila.
Precisely. This is the solution.
Iko $1 platform or problem or the code discourse wherever no message, but notwithstanding, nonetheless, in your mean for them, put a boycott, demonstrate, refuse and restrain. Police will need to refuse and restrain to, as is began. One problem only to demonstrate, okay, public order act, but need to boycott to fanam. Model bige nini be kuokono coming can you killing of minfo. It's the same problem we have. If we are saying, okay, we'll do this, but the next minute, oh no, morning I walk in, so waso buka tarakuokono, and then if I follow Gambia no long, Ibula yake, tilikilim fula sabani yake, ibe fonyola ni barate, ibede la coming in boys or osifal. So that's the sort of mindset mimbe kuokono. So these 3 or 4 things here, so help me out: boycott, demonstrate, refuse, and restrain.
But we're doing that. Ask Omar. I think there was some momentum of boycotting AfriCell and QCell. And there's a solution to the problem. Number one, when it comes to boycotting on AfriCell and QCell, Comium is there. I did not use any of these two entities, Birimbe Gambia. I bought my data from Comium, and I could see the savings. You boycott these issues by saying Pura has no business putting a floor on anything. Their job is to make sure they control the price hike such that the average Gambian can afford it. Let me give you an example on this one, because this is something that we can do, because we have an option. People can buy services from Comium and boycott AfriCell and QCell. Why? Because these entities are the ones that empower Adama Barrow. They are the corrupt cartel that this young man is talking about. Mohammed Jai is one of our problems. Ja Oil is one of our problems. If you listen to Ben Suare, he'll tell you that Ja Oil had nothing. And Adama Barrow is probably, this is hypothetical, they're saying he's investing money in Ja Oil, which is why he stopped his cement imports from Senegal. That's our relationship with Senegal, who helped us get the change that Adama Barrow is enjoying today. Number one, if we boycott these two entities, we buy services from Comium, they will have a negative impact on their sales. Perhaps when people lose jobs, that's fine. I mean, I'm saddened by that. But that's the policy that these owners are making. They're not looking at the interests of the country. They're corrupting Pura and allowing Pura to put a floor on the pricing. The two police officers, Menfada Mustafa, who killed them? Why are we going after this young man when evidence is showing otherwise? And this young kid his rights are being violated on a daily basis. So those are the things that we're talking about, the law enforcement flaws. From Mafoganyang, the Imam Mendiam Dakafogo, Muritol Manyana Nikela, what happened to their demonstration? And what happened to the demonstration of these young people? So there's cherry picking here. Wala Nankafogo Gambia. Amanke Banko de Miano Gafo de Fumbahana Neke Benade, Fumbahana Meneke Nyar Nyeta Agnenent. That's what we have.
That's right.
The haves and the have-nots, right? So these young men, they know how to poke this system and tell about the flaws. And this is what is going to give them the power to rise and say the law has to be applied across the board. Everybody must be under the law. Armabaroman tax joker Mustafa. Why? In what country Yemen bank dunia kono? The president earns a lot of money and he doesn't pay taxes. Meanwhile, you're feeding him, you're giving him $50,000 a day, $500,000 a month. And I heard, I hope I'm wrong, Faba Karitom Monjara is earning what? $9 million or whatever he's earning a year. Who is Faba Karitom Monjara? So Mustafa, the facts are there for us to realize, the system is this way. There's a 1%. Bernie Sanders here, Memphis, I believe that. He knows exactly that he's not good at math, but surely 99% is more than 1%. And everybody knows this. Then why is 1% enjoying the loot at the expense of the 99%? I continue to entrench. So the laws, we apply the laws across the board. Let the courts do their job and make sure that whoever is held accountable, from these Auditor General's report, let Adama Barrow enforce the law. Jana Commission, Mustafa, where's the money? Can they tell these young people, at least we're trying to find out where the order of resources and other sales went, but here is the money that we've collected. We know how much they collected, but where's the money? Kodole, Mustafa. Where is the money? And SK of all people took $100 million of you and I's money from the bank, central bank's reserve, and gave it to some business entity to bring us goods to supply. They said to reduce the cost of commodities. Who did they give the money to? And has the commodity prices come down? I think these are things Gambian will see.
Thank you. Thank you so.
You're welcome.
Amar, can you hear me? Hi, Amar, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm dragging Ali to join me now.
Okay, good. Ali, okay, hi. Okay, we'll come to you, Amar, first. Amar, you were talking about why was GALA established and what is the reason behind all this GALA thing? And then you were having some, connection issues. But notwithstanding, you think GALA is the way forward? Do you think GALA is the way forward to resolve all problems, Amar?
Absolutely, that Gala and any other movement that may emerge along the way is that what is certain is uprising, protest, accountability, demanding for answers and actions is the way forward to have us take a path that will salvage this country from the hands of corrupt leaders and bad leadership. And we could say that Gala have set a pace to say that, of course, Gala is the solutions to this problem. You see, like I said in my preamble, we have been using social media in this country for quite long. We have said it on social media. We have said it on interviews. The only language Gala make Gambians understand that this government or any other government that may come will understand is taking the streets. The flames is what they understand, is the power that power belongs to the people. Let's say, for example, our first protest. What happened in our first protest when we were arrested and taken behind bars? The only reason why they restrained and then they de-escalate the whole situation is because of the kind of mass protest that was flowing up. Meaning they know exactly what it takes for citizens to come together collectively to carry one voice on accountability and transparency. We have seen now that the government is responding. When we protested, they responded to us, even though we also have to go to analyze to what extent does that impact what the demands are. But we asked the president to address the nation on the investigative report. He did. We demanded for another investigation. The National Assembly set up a committee, and we have seen many other things happen. So as of the establishment of Gala to now, we could collaboratively agree that Gala, any other movement that may emerge on the offensive, is the way forward to put this country on the right footing, on the right path, to ensure that public servants understand that they must serve the people, but not just to serve the people. They must respect the pride and the needs of the people, and they must serve effectively and efficiently. So, of course, Gala and any other movement that may emerge to promote accountability and transparency, to fight against corruption, is the way forward to having a systematic change in this country.
I just want to comment there, Omar and Aliu. But Omar, what do you tell to people who feel that you people are just spoiled kids? You people are just kids who are looking for attention. You people want to, as they tell us, light the country. You people are just bring instability in the country. What do you tell to those people? Because those part also is there. But I don't know whether you can take it in local, because people always, we saw people in the comment section, local languages, you know, we always get that thing. I don't know which of the local language. Nit ñi dañ dé wax né yeen ay xalé yo xamné ngeen da ngeen xalé yo xamné amuñ yar amuñ teggin xalé yo xamné dañ nekka buga isi taal dëkk bi buga isi fitna si dëkk bi, and this is your embe pare they are words going ñu ngi wax ne tamit ne am na ñeena ñu leen back opposition yi. Lan ngeen a wax ñooñu, because lan ngeen a diffuse boobu, because nit ñaa ngi toog am nga ñu ngi toog seen cabinet yi seen i mag yi maire yi, people who don't understand, lan ngay wax ñooñu?
Jërëjëf Ndeye, suma olof bi bu baax, so I will take Mandinka do. Waaye comme yemu fode wala mool ko dindi mu le
ama jani kana be nyamendi la Amar ama jani kana be nyamendi la ku kilenna wala nyinti ko Gala nsal nyamendi ku kilenna na lafta kodo sotola aldi amunin tuwa kan na lafta pour mol yalla kuma kan moy the message to sink aldi amunin local language. Say this is serious, this is my experience. I'm from Gunjur, never Gunjure, but I've been countrywide, not countrywide, from Carton to Quena, Sade to your mummy ma, when it comes to Ning Sifal, you know.
Right.
When Lenten bread, Gambela Fana Jamal. But if you want people to understand, Moli Al Faham, Yalo Minkafo, Al Kangofo, Naldada Sabasanjal, Al Surua Kangofo, Naldada Dauda, Alila Kangofo. So Moni Ala Kangofo, I can't tell you, Itemari Nyangta Atemari Tole. I don't know if that makes sense. And the message, Nil after I put a Gambian or Mabala, Surua Kangolong, Mandinka Kang or Jola Kang or Fulakang, Mule Kang, Moinini Kawofo, your message would go far. That's my advice.
Yeah. Omutonya, becoming Nene Nin Karo Munkening Surua Kang or Welling, Molia and the Mutindin Klubaro Leti, the Mutindin Maramparo Leti Walla, the Lafaka Gambiale, jani comme la faka mu fode wolen ko ni mu ye tubawol ka mu ye political participation understand political participation everywhere is acceptance and rejection mol bi je mu yalan ko inin tel la faham ro bitale way mol bi je mu faram bentel jela nyaado nyama bare mu ko mere ko la fu kom tel manke dindinti mu yalan ko klubal yatale wala man respect ko soto mu nekata wolen yalon banko gam mol katara je mu yalan ko ye fahamuro ke mumbe dending banko la nyaato tala anu wole kam mol la wuli kan sembentu yande ni moy a faham ko nyin kaso mu red ledi abe kala nyami ani mum balanta ko nyin kaso manke retti de nyin kaso mu green de ata clean ndel na munje wolen ko banko mu yalan ko yaje ko bankol muntada. If you read from third world to fourth world, Singapore la first president na buko. One of the I kuma follow mu fuje mu yan na Singapore Canada fukareala bi Singapore tubabo ni la faka economic status kana eka Singapore le karang imam fenkele ala kele flow kada mundi wolem corruption wala nakaro ni sunyaroti mansakunda tamandirnya ni na ka jibe South Korea ani nyim bankol be mu yalon ko manke tubabo bankol jide bi e nyata ka ko gambe be nyamin bari e keta e manke ko gambe be nyamin tonya fo ani nakari bondo wole samba fone nyata ka jibe from society kono fran na dinkral be nyamin ni momun ka tonya fo bage sulu ni nara mansakunda because mansakunda tamandirnya amanke dron ko politiko la faham role molie adol dundi jele bari fana ye religion o ta ya dundi je comme ko dol bi ye manyana ko fo mansay mo manyana ka protest o haramu dale so ko si fal ka jele ko kamere mum mo kulu balol wa ndel manke mo kulu ndel na sama nga wole je ka sama sang delie anin dingol because nga mum fo woleng birin 1965 mamanyol mfamanyol imo jama biye imani miral nyala soto ye mol felle wala na bin telbe sirinjang hani kany interview ke may internet o soto ndara karambungul to karambungul mu yanan ko man karan kende soto na sirol bi jana mu yanan ko man sila kendo so hando ko kendo kata fo university e buka soto nyim banko ka wolen tel wulinde ka foko nin gambia tata nin silo la birin 1965 mbe damin bi manyana tarra woto ko dol bi je tubabol ka fu me basic necessities bin tel manyana ko kumbo sole jama fo jang mi non ko senden del nyanda kam mirale how to get to the advanced stage of what a state should look like bari fanan ndaka mum fo mole ni e ku mo nyin simal nan ndey wolen hanama di ni la miral nyale ndako ma kilim fo mole nte I'm a pure democrat not just by practice now but ndela masters from moke in democracy le so mu nekka ke mol bra miral nyal be fatalale anu mol la miral nya fatata damin e ka sembo so do wolto ite la ilata munna mum kumara do wolen gala dingol manyana ke la moy di negative part da mala e nyanda kam ngi wolen ko tel wulta wuli kawla kama an lumren tel ba wuli kan May 7 or May 8 mo man joko dila mo ma fu mo le ko nala jembe ko dila lale mun kada wolen ngaje ko tajirinte ya nin klimbal ya nin sunyaro be nim bango ga nimma bang fukare ate bola nyim banko kam because ndaka mfo mole bank gambia mam ke fukare bankuti munem problem modi wolen we are poorly managed and poorly led since 1965 nu woten Singapore ni mu Singapore history read what had Singapore mu in 1965 when they getting independent that Gambia did not have amon soto but what did they do they ensure that first they invest in human capital ni mo ko human capital fana man ken de la educational system so ya fujan de la karam bu be muneti an wala ka suyaro fran kama nan de yalla mun na karam mun ka grani mun la comme inyanda ka ta karam mu do free fanka maya sa di ta karam mu do ko inyanda ka karne ka ko di jama so ka fanka maya ina ko do ko so man fanka maya be suyaro kala because your mentality dun de ko we need to dismantle our educational system in the first place because I remember there is this person, I forgot the name, but when America got independent, is it their president or somebody said, we have created a republic, but the most important thing is to maintain that republic. And in the educational system of Gologi Molla, and in the Mufala Mole Drum, until Bota Cordal economy along Kulule. Mbora Cordal economy along Corda Hormaring, but in Mansakunda Katanim Fanun Jamala and Falun Kilimbi Wolling civil movements and engagement. Wole gala findinina nimman sakunda ya ketem because ni ndi ngoki bidiko do bi for example Eka time mburo ni mbota sang. Atata mburo ni 6 kilo say anita buka 6 kilo do maybe menekala ibe kamfara and you hold him accountable. Man sakunda nim banku dingul bo nyali. Comme soli afu nyami di 500,000 mbe baro joko muna on tax ndelle ka jo. Aka domro mu ke state house ndelle ka ke. So therefore nim baro e banko samba din silo la silo muning man sakunda la sarsul manta banku dingul la nyanta ka wuli e diam. Just like National Assembly Benjamin, just like all of me, because at the end of the day, kufula wale ka kodo na nyim banko kan. One, na namol. Fulanyaw ka kodo donto. Bari kanyim kodo mun donto bantala bangol ka eka donto nintel toyala. Bari fakan tel na fala bam banku dimu nyanda ke fongo nyini kawol. Nka namol munjo. Fakan tel na fala bam. Because binde ni tata base. Atondi Europe, you live in Europe, I live in Europe. Most of the rich people are not even their public officials. It's the farmers. It's the farmers. Bija mobe hetta keme dokola tiola ate hani condition je mumba na fala. Ndela jam farmers all are the poorest people in Nimbango gam Dobal Senegal. Miano ko ditara dula do Senegal lem kodi tiol nim fankamal. Ndela jam Senegal len Dobal because hani lo senol ni e sang ni e pareta ibuka wafi no nin tilungu nin tonyaka. So until mundi buna molbela miral nyal sotolale way gala wulu tale kanyim banko londi nin silola nte mo nenna nim mote ñoo jabila bari mo fanna dia motat nantir nga muru ko made because ntel nga jele ko man sakunda kata nin fannal munna nim fanna lulu ñamu bije wala fanna nani ñamu bije wala civil society and civil movements and how civil engagement with the government change trajectories around the world. Nga example di mall in United States when black people were not allowed to vote in UK when women were not allowed to vote in those days, they did not sleep in their rooms. Movements emerged, and today there is that change in those places. What am I more better minalnya day and more minalnya especially in a political space is okay. Why Gala Wulta Munkama Wolen Katonya Sabadindi Kamansa Kunda Tlinin Silola Kajeko Mola Nyantul Bunya Nyantul Mundama Mandali political and civil rights, but even economic and social rights. If Ali have anything to add.
Yeah, let me handle the English so we can get money, you know. As it was said. I think for me it's
Mustafa, this young man is called the Immortal.
Oh, okay. Hello, hi. Nice to meet you, Immortal.
Thank you, Mustafa. I don't know about Gunjur.
Okay. Wow.
Na alimuna lanto mad alimuna jokuna.
Afabile. Okay. Great.
Sign. I just wanted to say, so you mentioned three things that we're usually charged with: that we are spoiled, that we are attention seekers, and that we want to burn this country down. It is to say that, first of all, we are not spoiled. Most of majority of young people who are fighting for this country come from very poor backgrounds, and the ones who are spoiled, we've seen what they're doing in the country right now, who are our age mates or younger than us. We see what those young people are up to and what has been the contention around that. I mean, I don't even want to get into that stuff, but there is no such thing as, I mean, there comes a time where there needs to be a certain responsibility that must be assumed by young people and old people alike. You know, it's like the Fanonian saying about every generation have its own mission. They either fulfill it or betray it. And we feel that it's our generational responsibility that we have to create a new society. I mean, this is not just about reform. It's not a piecemeal dance to nowhere. It's not some gradualist thing that we are aspiring to. What we want is a society where nobody should go to bed hungry. I mean, the demands are not even metaphysical. They're not demands that we're not asking that everybody in Gambia should own a jet or should own a fleet of cars or anything. What we're saying is, can every Gambian wake up and not be indignified with hunger, with deprivation, with lack of shelter, with lack of clothing, you know, the basic bare necessities of life. And if that is something that you can be accused of being spoiled about, I think it is justified and righteous to be spoiled in that regard, you know, to ask for that. And the second thing about attention seeking, the entire edifice of a movement is to seek attention. But whose attention are you seeking? When people protest, they're seeking attention, that the government should heed their demands. So yes, we are attention seekers, but we are seeking attention that is going to change the reality on the ground. And in fact, that thing about us burning down this country, it's the irony of it, you know. We are fighting for the fact that what we are fighting for basically is that this country should not be put on fire, because when you push people to the very the last limit of their patience, when people are hungry and people are indignified, people don't have proper shelter, people don't have all the necessities of life, what happens? Then there's a spike of crime. Then the next thing is extremism takes root, like we are seeing recently that's happening. Crime, extremism are all symptomatic of a deeper disease that we are facing, which is poverty, chronic poverty, ignorance, and disease. And unless we combat those, the government of the Gambia will be responsible for lighting this country, not us. Actually, what we are doing, we are firefighters. We are fighting a fire that is going to be lit by the lack of development and anything that's supposed to sustain Gambia and have people. Now, the issue of protesting and the republic, the idea of the modern republic that the nation state, was created in France in the 1700s, and it came out of a protest movement. The republic was created out of the masses' discontent with the monarchy, and out of that discontent and the consolidation of that comes with the Paris Revolution, the Paris Commune, and all of these were protest movements. So the emergence of the nation state itself is tied directly to protest and the discontent of the masses. So unless we want to institute a monarchy in Gambia, we will continue protesting, and we will continue to be the advanced detachment of the people, the farmers, the poor people, the working people of this country, until we set this country right. There is no compromise. The line has been drawn very clearly between the dispossessed and those who dispossess them. Thank you.
I understand.
Now I'm going to bow out. I have so many things to do here.
Thank you, Ali. That was a good one.
Okay, but let me understand, Omar. Is it a countrywide tour or national tour? Why?
Okay, so Mustafa, Niajibe, until we emerge from, we call it from a moment to a movement. After May 8, 2025, after that massive protest, after our release, right? And we tend to understand that civic engagement is not going to be the same again since GALA emerged. And we have two approaches at GALA. That is the top-bottom approach and the bottom-top approach. In fact, this is a very good analogy, honey, in development practices, right? The top-bottom is to continue to take the streets to ensure that accountability is injected into our public service and into our governance system to ensure that the public servants are held accountable anytime they flout the rules of governance, but also kata tinini moli kacha, because banko ni Gambia Benjamin woleng na political awareness woleng na fahamuro ni na political tamandiri nyala among warabate, come no disrespect, right? But ninga ni famang kajong coming kafuko political parties. You see, political participation is beyond kakartefai, right? It's beyond to belong to a political party. It's a whole idea of understanding a political system. Our message is going to be Gambia is not poor, but poorly managed and led. That your taxes are supposed to be enough to give you a dignified life, like Aliu said, basic necessities today, like healthcare system, like a better educational system, better infrastructure. We want to dismantle that mindset of how people look at a state or a government within a state, that whatever the government does for the people is a favor. Let's say, for example, my mom in Bansang will feel like if if President Barrow and his government built a hospital in Mankamankunda, that is a favor. She doesn't understand that ateka namo munjo yoleta yo leptano law in Mankamankunda or in Bansang or in Basi. So political education have been lacking in this country since 1965. One of the reasons why we have been taken for a ride. The reason why Jawara have ruled in this country for 30 years couldn't be ever defeated through the ballot box is because of the lack of political education. Jammeh for 22 years with all what he has perpetuated on us in this country is the same. So we want to create that awareness. Gala is a movement that doesn't just want to take the street, but also to ensure that we make people understand what it takes to be a citizen and what it takes to keep and defend a republic. So in the nationwide tour, we want to go and then talk to the farmer, to the gardener, to the market vendor, right, to the student in the school, to everyone, for them to understand what it takes to participate in politics, but also what is the need to ensure that collectively we fight against corruption and ensure that our government system is anchored on the pillars of accountability, transparency, and the rule of law. So we are going, the whole thing is we're going to do a civic education. Probably we are expanding the Sky Power online civic education to the farmer in Bolibana or the gardener in Boraba to make them understand what it takes to be a citizen and how a citizen should take part in the daily affairs of the state. Because because ninko mola fahamruma wara amankela faulty ngani fo jam prime diam yentel jele na karambula bundal iman karandi to understand the need for people to understand nitara Senegal ndeko fo mole a sous doctor, right, a sous doctor or as somebody that is not a university graduate in Senegal understand political systems in Senegal more than a political science graduate in the Gambia. You know why? Because system only created jami and and it's deliberate. I remember after 2016, people will tell us that we should thank God that a university is existing because of that university that Jammeh was removed. Meaning they understand the power of education. And that's why they give us half-baked education and system where people will just go and cram books and then, but do not have that level of education that will make them challenge systems and also change that. So that's the purpose. We'll go to schools, we'll go to the farm, we'll go to the Bantaba, but at the end of the day, the message is very clear. Every Gambian must understand that his or her poverty is not God-made. It's man-made of people that sat in State House, drive $12 million in Prados, send their children to the most expensive schools, send their parents to Dakar and the most expensive hospitals around the world, but leave us in absolute and absolute poverty because they are not interested in our welfare.
Okay,
So, Omar, the message is to make sure that every Gambian knows and understand that the poverty, their situation is not man-made, it's not God-made, it's somebody sitting at State House. And what was the message in general when you people did the People's Assembly tour? And I like that thing of saying that, the poverty, the conditions are not man-made. My mom always tell me that, and he would say, ñu bari dinañ alaxira ñu bari dinañ layoo yàlla because lu nekk rek ñu ne yàlla la lu nekk ñu teg ko ci ko yàlla. So you people were sending clear message. What was the message when you people were going around with the People's Assembly tour? Because I like the word People Assembly tour. I think if you translate that to either Wolof or Mandinka, Mola Parliament fang mo di Mola Mustafa.
Yeah, so
Mola Parliament.
Mola Bantaba. So we can just use the Bantaba thing.
Mola Bantaba, because we have that Norway. Scandinavia has been known for movements. Norway has been really known for movement, and young people have been a lot in the driving force. In fact, it gets to a point when Breivik went to kill because he feels that there are so many immigrants. He went to the youth gathering that is yearly done by one of the opposition main political party in this country, have what they call AWF, where they gathered all the young people who belong to their party. And it's a week-long education and political education, and all the former leaders come there. And Breivik, actually, when he felt that these are the generation that are going to carry out the work of Arbeiter, that's the Labour Party, they're going to carry the work because he doesn't want immigrants in this country. He waited until they have that gathering. He went there and killed over 70 kids there on that gathering. So that just shows again the power of the young people. But what was the message you people were telling these people? Because you were going in the up countries, in the villages, talking to people, because I saw the pictures where you people were doing the tour. What was the message?
Yes, so the message is, first to clarify, that was an advanced team to go and set the ground. They told us if it started.
You haven't started. Because I thought the tour was on already.
Yes, so
then I'm going to explain a little bit now about this. The tour, this is an advanced team. The tour hasn't started. So that
the advanced team was magnified in a way that people thought it's already a tour. That also shows that how Gala is embraced by the people in this country, right? We could remember when our advanced trip started, people were calling to say, but Alman Nantella started, Alman Nantella village, right? So that was an advanced team. And the purpose was the advanced team is to go and set the ground so that we are set to tour this country. And then the team set is simple. Our voice, our wealth, our future. And that covers everything surrounding, because na promoter is corruption. If we are able to make people understand corruption ka munke mola ana ka munke bankola ka mola hajo nila ila nidia nila nyato ta tinyanyami, then fahamuro be start la kana, because e moje comme mosa fo nyawnya karila ko diata nyel ini mosi dia nyawnya mola kosi die nyawnya ni luolo yalon ko nila daraso la nila tablo ka te ko daraso talab ka foe ya yo sunyaro rek ala ko ka jila domandi ikana fahamle ko ni manke mo kende wala ni manke modi mu yalon ko tena si kudu no nyote man. And that is the language ni moli ya faham ko during 1965 ni banko mu banko di yalon ko natural resources bijanne, we have the resources to amass and pull ourselves out of abject poverty. Ninga foeko the poverty rate, because model be from all me from Africa, the United Nations or the global standard for who is poor is living below $50 per day. You know, I was in Bangsang the last time as a facilitator on their youth conversion. I told them to live. I told a class of 60 people that we are all poor here, and they started shouting, "No, I'm not poor." I told them, "How much do you live on a day?" When I told them it's $50 per day, like everybody is poor, because even that $50 that some of them will live on is given to them by their parents after university education or after college education. And Saul made mention of that. The president is paid $500,000 on tax. Today, the chief justice is paid $290,000 or plus. A minister is paid $200,000. A cleaner at the National Assembly who lives in Brikama is paid $3,000, $4,000. What is the fares from Brikama to Banjul? She's working for the state for free, right? So people need to understand nil mo nyanda ka nyine fahamu ko mo mang nyanda ka mansa kunda kong. Like I did in one of my interviews kong ntel mo man mansa kunda kong. But if we sa fahamu mansa kunda niti the social contract munete ni mansa kunda tema contract ko le bi the moment itara yela carte fay yela kuma kamo sikale yela nyato ta sika yela nyanto sika yadi mola e kay ko nyim maranye ado kundinye ayen nafa ayete nafa ay banku dingul nafa nim akam do businessman rek man sa kunda ning banku dingul bo nyaat ni businessman o tay taxi man o tay kay ko na taxi sambateng lolu nyata ka 500 la kamanyana adarita ko 100 kamenyang ibe mira la nyaadi le man if I understand, right? Yes, I'm sorry for that. Come somebody says $50 is $2 per day. I escaped my mind. That the $50 is a lot though. $50 is a lot per day. Right. Sorry. Thank you, Yusuf, for that. So Nina da kajibe more jella ka was in Bangkok. So Lafaka Munke will political education. Like we will always argue that is what is lacking. And that's why the civil bantaba and all of these things are very important. Kata diamu banku dingule ka foeko alla nyanto len ka karteo fay alla nyanto len kaje ko mola mansakunda e samba nyamin mola kumakao ani ila sembo inyandaka mansakunda samba ni wala, because niajibe in English government is run on the principles of legitimacy and authority, and then the legitimacy is driven from two angles. Most of the time the government will always look at the legal part of legitimacy, but there is legitimacy in listening to the people that vote you in office and what they want you to do. If you look at what the law says and you look at what the people say, you look at the law and then the people and then drive them, because at the end of the day you need to serve the people. So these are the kind of messages we're going to send to the people for them to understand. And then to clarify, we are not a political party. We are not politicians. We are political by movement, though. You know the history of movement. No. We leave that to politicians. Mansakunda manta takukang anu mansakunda nyanda kata ni sartul muna was sartul mantare takang kuke. Now it's a choice for the people to decide in 2026 or in 2031, but it's good for them to know what it takes for the government to serve them. So that's the whole idea about the protest, but also to dismantle or decolonize the conception around what protests mean in this country. Let's say, for example, the last protest, the Bama ended this only. According to that protest, because nkata mansale nenje, nkata mansale fairje, atibe bolantetolo. For example, right? We also need to make people understand how protests change the world. Like I give example, and Ali also gave example here, that all of the countries that are progress today, ila banku dimul mansi mansakunda bula mundiate yake, right? Because at the end of the day, mansakunda la nyanto mundi wolen ka nyato tani yiriwa nati nang banku dimule. Ni o man sotorek, it becomes problematic, right? So banku dimul nyanda ko fahamle ko ndela ka mansakunda kiye anum faran ka fa ko ha komi ya fa nyamendro ha ala la ka mansa sini na wato sida bolaje. No, I want nila ngani fo moye ngago ko ala la ka mansa sini ko nya ngago ko next election tanata karre fayde elela bungono ala be mansa jindile na asamba state house. All of these mentalities are out there. People need to decolonize them. These are mentalities that are injected into us just simply to dodge accountability and transparency, either through the polls, through the streets, or through any means where the government or the citizens will be able to expose the government and all of that. So political education is the step forward to consolidate our democracy, and that's why we are taking the road to the provinces.
Okay, thank you. Akumada bake janni bina, because a lot of the police will fanna mala asis ni bije, because alnim police will tambira nyame, because police keba bijanne ate police school lombake la asis bojang. Okay, easier. Okay, but janni bina asis nyola fanna, because I call of the police now for dunna be alda mal sa dunyola, but jannal be dunna nyola lafta ko killing the lonna jang wolom. The floor is open as all. Momo lafta minkle, you can all contribute. And then for a lafta minfola, ula nyintiko atul. Aligning movement create all of the kata countrywide to all of the go. Where would the kodo alba kodo bola muntola for ale kodo sotola? Where would the alba kodo bandla muntola? Kodo battle buleva purkanyinke.
Omar, before you respond, can you allow me, Mustafa?
Yeah, go on.
I'm going to take leave of you guys because I have 28 minutes to prepare for a 2:00 meeting.
Thank you.
But I'm gonna nail a couple of things, Maria Memfo.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I didn't listen to Immortal comment. He's my son, but I had a call. Mustafa Omar, you wanted to know Benjamin Franklin was the president who said he gave the United States a republic, but he asked the question if they can keep it. And you see what we're doing here in the United States, obviously. But I Memfo, Kodonying, Mustafa, Ndolbele Nyanteleka contribution, okay. South Africa is a good example of what happened. People were fighting. They had some of the militants in neighboring countries going in and creating chaos. They were supported. Nigeria hosted a lot of them. Even South Africa time, we knew some South Africans used to come to Gambia. It was a collective effort to change the narrative in the country. But funding was critical. Omar Kamenfo, the farmers are suffering. Mustafa, lately, 2 days ago, we saw what happened in Senegal. They have narrowed down the debt to GDP ratio by a huge margin. And so they continue to use the resources wisely. Educating people, Kafoyoko, Mansakunda Telono La Faye. The reason we have philosophers like Socrates, who was forced to either take poison or accept the status quo, and he refused and took poison and died, is because philosophers kawale foko. Power would never concede anything without a demand. You elect people, you put them there, they're going to entrench themselves, they're going to try to take more power until you step up and say, "Nye elect janne, Pruntol, Umar, Ndei, Mustafa, Aziz, Ndoleta do kuola, nga kuol dol ke membe na mo jola pour ka funding ke pour government ye function. In the meantime, here's the roadmap. Constitutional nyina dila, nga sembo dila le baribe dan na janne. Ni tambitala mbe bondi la jele nga do keje. This is the education that needs to come to Gambia. Kafoko. President Amabaro Manke is not a monarchy, and solely Allah Adamabaro select. If Allah was going to select, he would have given us the best person. He gave us the intellect. He gave us the knowledge. I found bele di hadma dingola. Ni aje tuwabol beje be kol kelan kasi Gambia Kafoko. Tuwabol mu bual leti. Ala solo no. Tuwabol manke buati. We all see that here, Mustafa. You take your child to school, they take her son to school. He is just as capable to compete as any other child in the classroom. If you give him the resources he needs. This is what we need to educate our people. Mbesila jane ka foko Armaboro mansolid, and people kind of fear Armaboro. They will get in Sadoda all the time, even though Sadoda is my mentor, so to speak. It's a fallacy nyanta bola menkono. Adama Barrow denda be club president ngame nyini ka Gambia me bebe in video jeka before Adama Barrow yake president ay jumale makoy ay kodo bondi mintol ka dimola ay la koda lo man saka man kama kunda denda be club president ay wokele bang kodo me akata ka nyin political bureau lo Adama Barrow yewono le bang denda be kala. So who gave him the power? Atolle alla namo kodo diala instead of ayata al makoy. The structures, healthcare, education, agriculture, security. Aye bele fail nun dalilo meat nga keje wala nyinde kanyin problem olta ke bondi molla domoro easy musol ye empower dindingol ye karang na opportunity di le ke doko soro ye banko samanyaro. Armabaroti cannot develop that country. No can see Njai or Faba Karitom Bonjara. They're old enough, they can't do it. It's the young people who are going to build the country. They must be given the opportunity to do that. And if Adamabaro cannot deliver, he needs to step aside. Alabara.
Thank you. Much obliged. So thank you
Appreciate
very much.
you guys. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye now. Bye now.
Thank you. Thank you so
Right.
much.
Bye guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
And
Cheers.
so you forget we did it also during the struggle. The diaspora raised funds.
That's
so
right.
if each diaspora 200 something thousand they are talking about, each diaspora give just $1. We have
Correct.
$200,000 for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can do it again. And BMJ, Barrow Must Go Group, is going to lead that. We're going to have he was part of the Gambia Democratic Fund. We will create that avenue to fund this young man and give him all the resources. The technology we're going to give you drones. Umar, we are going to work on giving you drones to monitor who is coming to that country during election. You hold them accountable.
Thank you. Much obliged. Appreciate it. Right. Cheers now. Cheers.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye now.
Aziz, we cannot see you, Claire. I think you are the light. Just
Thank you, Saul. So
Okay.
to answer your question,
Lafte Marco Damento, Janim Bina police will come.
ha,
Funding, and then send me the link for Nimpare. Ning Allah will be
we can share
You can
it
send me the
whilst
link near Lonko. Although Nyanta Kal charge the Prunka link nim promote Janambal charge la olale. There's a charge attached to that. Yeah. But
But
let me
if you can also, if you have it now, or some of your people to share it so that we put it whilst people are on.
Yeah, while we're streaming live.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so what we're saying, Omar,
I'll say.
okay, where would that money come from? Albert Kodo means to dollar Purkata Mall Civic Educate across the country. Albert Kodo Bolamundole, Wokodo Battle Bulemo, because me au cooking on Bulefok and transparency, Tilingo, and then Sotonya Bekelanyaming, Adul Bekolo Bolamundole.
So Gala Mankodo, so they see Gala movement in Muyalanko probably it should be studied, right? In the history of the Gambia, probably until they will do a paper on Gala, right? But
Honestly,
Gala the people's movement lady and crowdfunding like Gala Samba. I remember when we announced the protests for the May 8th, we were not even thinking about funds. All what we want to do was among ourselves, each getting 200, 300, you get the placards like or vancards and then markers just to write something on it, right? And when the group was created on Monday, by evening of Tuesday, somebody in the group that I don't know, that nobody knows, and say, can you create a WhatsApp group? We want to contribute. People for the first time, like I said, in the beginning, take a protest Jamal lead Jang or be part of protest from 2018 with the supplementary appropriation bill back to against deportation in 2019, all the way down to the Sabali case in 2020 and all of those. For the first time, the suggestion for contribution came from the people, the Gambian people. And Mustafa, I will tell you, you'll be surprised that people were donating $5 and $10 and $20 and $25 until we rose above a 50,000 within 24 hours. Gambian people. In fact, not the diaspora yet. I mean, teachers and cleaners and students from the university, from the college, from high school, we are sending $10 and $20 and all of that. That's how we generated fund, and that was the fund that was used when we were behind bars and all of the logistics that we did. That also shows you that even in organizations, I mean standing organizations where people come together, their first point of call is red light to this organization, not at first to say let's contribute. So that also shows you that GALA is not just unique in its existence, but it comes at a time where it's been embraced by the Gambian people. So after that, the diaspora people join, so crowdfunding, people keep asking for our wave number or ASB and then ask and funding us. And also one thing that currently we have regional movements like Africa Rising and other movements that are also chipping in, sending their support, both financially and kind, to ensure that GALA moves. Let's say, for example, the rice protest that just passed, Africa Rising sent almost 21,000 to us, for example, right? And then people keep diaspora, especially the diaspora, people keep sending in their $5, their $10,000s, their $1,000 to keep the movement, because at the end of the day, that's how movements are run. Movement, especially the people's movement, must be funded by the people to come back to the whole idea of accountability and transparency. Because there are certain entities and people, we cannot take funds from them because tomorrow they must fall under the premises of being held accountable, right? But individually, people will send in their money. And then we're going to announce the date for the nationwide tour or the People's Assembly. Let us not make it look like the other way around. The People's Assembly, and we will open door for sponsors and then funding. So for now, we are funded by the people. The people are funding their own movement through their $5 and their $10. And movements around Africa Rising and other movements are also chipping in. And we have seen how Juka and his team also will always do the crowdfunding online thing for us to have funds, because at the end of the day, movements are run through funding. So for now, this is how we get our funding, from the people. People will randomly send in their contribution, jëndalen dox, jëndalen leka, ngeen yóbbu ko si boy, jëndalen lead and all of that. So that's how we run GALA with funding.
Thank you. Okay, I don't know who's Juka, but can you send me the link, if you have time permits? So let's go. Atul, alim police all tema. Azizile.
Yalla bring yalla police buka song ni kat du ñola wala, right? But femma dun tel nim police ol tema.
Okay, so it's only police at you. They come for kusi at you.
Issue, like for example, I have a whole issue with the Public Order Act, right? Because first, what is a Public Order Act of that manner as it was in 1961, between 1961 to 1963, its establishment, still the same today in our law books. That was not a law meant for Saibo or Antinde or Aliu. It was meant for at that time, early time, to barricade or block the anti-colonial establishments at that time, for people not to. And then it's not just a Gambian problem. Ghana have a Public Order Act. Sierra Leone have a Public Order Act. All the British colonies, I guess, have a Public Order Act.
Even though we don't have Public Order Act, but when you are demonstrating, you have to apply for a permit. But you cannot be rejected for the permit, because why you have it is the police are there to make sure there is no counter demonstration or anything. Yes.
So you notify the police that even in Italy, in UK, you have it. In, just say for example, in UK, you notify the police. I think 6 days to notify the police that you're gonna protest so that they provide security. Yes. In Ghana, the Public Order Act, the way it is in Banjul, that's how it is in Accra. But they modify it to meet the human rights standards. Now you notify the police 5 days that I'm gonna protest so that they provide. But we kept it as it was established by the Queen or the colonial master in 1961 up to date. So now what happened also with the Public Order Act is the Public Order Act Section 5 have provide a clause that if somebody wants to protest or you want to do a peaceful protest or assembly and you're going to go on a procession or you're going to use a public address system, that is a PA system, a loudspeaker. If you are in the Greater Banjul area, you apply to the Inspector General of Police. If you are in the hinterland, you apply to the governor or a person designated to grant that. It doesn't absolutely say you cannot protest at all. If you are going on a procession or you are using a PA system, and this is the thing, when we went out the first time, the May 8th, what happened? In fact, we were not protesting yet. The I-27 or the Justice Memorial, or how they call it, was a public space that Aliu and I can go and sit down there and him, for example, right? And that's what we did exactly. We did not have a procession. We had no PA system. They came and picked us up, right? This last protest, Munekeda, the boys, we only say that let's meet at Pura. We're not saying we're going to march from Westfield to Pura. We're not saying we're going to march from Senegal to Pura. We said let's go to the Pura headquarters and show our dissatisfaction. In our flyer, we do not mark point A, point B that will be indicated as a procession, or we do not say we are going to use a loudspeaker or a PA system, and that is within the confinement of the law, even with the Public Order Act being existing. But you see, the truth is, the Public Order Act it saddens me that in 2025, a Public Order Act that have incarcerated people in this country. You see, if we talk about the Public Order Act and the electoral reform, my mind goes to Solo Sunday. Imagine, Solo Sunday was killed for demanding for electoral reforms, but under the prefix of the Public Order Act, we still have that Public Order Act after his comrades and party members become presidents and vice presidents and ministers and National Assembly members in this country for 8 years down the line. They had all opportunities to repeal that law in respect and honor of Solo's death, but they refused it. That shows you one thing, that the politician is only self-serving. When they came, there are laws that they quickly changed. The National Assembly changed the law that makes them, if you are sacked by your party, you lose your seat. The upper age was removed, but they forgot the Public Order Act that claimed the life of one of their most fearless comrades. In fact, whose death is also part of the percentage why the change happened in the first place, the anger out of Solo's death, and then the eventual arrest of his comrades and then sending them to mile 2. And that law, for me personally, I don't acknowledge the Public Order Act. And that is why most of the time, until the group agree, I don't even go and look for, why would I, you see, my human right is not offered by another human being. And therefore, my right to peaceful assembly cannot be permitted or not by the Inspector General of Police. He's a human being like me, under the same law. So this is what happens, but the police will always come and tell us that they have the command from the up, that we have violated the law, because they will always charge you for one thing, unlawful assembly, right? All the time they arrest us, they will charge us unlawful assembly, because that's their whole interpretation of what that means. But also you need to understand that the police don't just arrest us for unlawful assembly. They will brutalize and then abuse protesters. And this is where my problem with the police is. If the police claim that the directives are not coming from them, they are asked to disperse us based on their command, then why do you brutalize? Why do you abuse? Because At the end of the day, those are individual responsibilities, Mustafa. You see, if I am a police officer, I am posted to a protest ground, and my message is to tell them that they are unlawfully assembled. I will go and tell them you are unlawfully assembled. Why will you vote verbally? Let's say, for example, SAR. I will have to mention SAR here. SAR will not only go physical on people, but SAR will abuse people verbally. Will threaten people that he's going to beat them, he's going to brutalize them, and all of that. But one thing I will tell the police before Bojang comes is that at the end of the day, if you fail to learn from history, history will force you to learn in the hard way. We have seen how police officers, military officers, paraded at the TRC, cried that it was not their fault, it was against their will. You have a choice. You see, if you are in public service and you are in public office, your principles and values do not match with the actions you are asked to do, you simply resign. That's what dignified people do. You don't hide behind, I don't have a choice. You have a choice. There are people that have a choice. Even small people like us, small boys like us that do not even find any meaningful way of our life now, we have a choice to pick and choose what we do with our life so that tomorrow we don't fail the people of this country. So I think the police need to look at their crowd management mechanisms and then, build them up. It's not us versus them. Okay. We don't hate anybody. We hate corruption. And we always fight corruption regardless of what the situation looks like. So I think that's what I want to say about the police.
Permission granted.
I think just quickly before as is coming that this Public Order Act is really annoying, and that's one thing that really annoys me. The Constitution guarantees your freedom of assembly, association, and expression. Now the Public Order Act flips it and said, yeah, well, wait a minute, but you must ask for permission to exercise that. I think that is what really gets me annoyed about the Public Order Act. Let me just give Aziz the floor now.
Hello, sir. Officer.
Yes, I'm putting a protest in the first place. I have been reduced to a bench warmer for over 2 hours. That's not fair.
Yeah, we have
on a platform that is talking about freedom, equality, and justice.
You want to single me out to embarrass me now?
No, I'm not singling out anyone. I'm including the gala. I think this one should be also another gala for it.
Yes.
Mustafa.
Aziz.
Mustafa Nyindiningol Dadiata.
Okay.
Dadiata back.
Amar, can you hear me? Can you hear? Amar, where are you?
Kay Nyindiningol Dadiata back. Okay. Inyo sabaj ikacha anyo ya be kole ala back bari. Ntela laftaka Omar Murundi demanding at this time ida ben ningi ben jabile se sort answer katu silante the rest of the platform tel tam ni mota talala ngambatu bakele bari laftaka Omar Murundi dorong ay kacha fulo danin ko ya katele pour ka inin government ka dialogue bari ya jele ko wo manta man government man kango kam moyna manke protesti yo woto ninga wo moy akamuntam fele komen protest le mu di last resort biri ye kolu be kata pour ka government la attention call to member caring in banko kan mola wo sida corruption and all what no government me ila kumolu moy wala ya tinna sila de resort to protest nintara wole mu woto hanin bi mo samira ko dialogue man banjang adum inyanta ka dialogue le use lafta mune fola nim protest lem di last resort ne o ke foka bang nim ku kote wulta woto dialogue tambindi bang ninga mang ben then you protest mu mo be la nyantolti bari nya jem futata je because ikadiamu menuli me la kumomoy so lafta men fola wala nyinti ko gala alben tolle kelola bari al kana fitino ta as the first option hanim bi take the route of protest.
So I just want to clarify that protest means no man clean.
No. Yes, maybe in naman ni kakao. Yalon to jola let.
Yes. So I just want to clarify.
Comment dal balambaya. Let me put it that way.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah, understand me.
I understand.
Yo, bari ningie gala jibe ibe menna. Ibe kelo menna de. Abentolu bele. Katu alka internet kuo memfangofu. Yala tolka adula kilinne fo wole mu komen ada kole ata fo wonde. But remember Kerim B in Gambia, near internet sang for 1 month, maybe 2,500. Iteka mensoto of internet, abukatambi, maybe 15 days supply. Mune wono, within this 1 month, nawek bitale maybe 10 days. Ite internet sotola. Ni nawek nata, ila router will not be functioning. So when you look at it in reality, it takes 10 days worth of internet Lesotho for a 1 month bill. So obviously, Albekelo Menna is very good. But he coming to Anning Police or Anning Public Order Act. Omar Bill after Mfana in Nigeria Samanang, a different way of seeing things. Ntiamira Public Order Act manke problem ti adungamira ko Public Order Act nyanta stelale adungamira ko abeteata banko kan bari lata nyina ko police la action tema approve. So there are two different things here: the Public Order Act and police execution. Bankote je me alonko.
Uncle Aziz, 1 minute. So do you want the public order to stay as it is? You know, I gave references that it can be modified. Like we have other countries that have Public Order Act and it is modified. Do you want it to stay as it is today, that we have to seek for permission not to notify the police? Or you just want, what exactly do you want the public order to be?
I want you to seek for permission. I want the public order to stay as it is. No, let me learn.
No, you acknowledge that it's my fundamental human right.
Patiently. Omar, you have to listen to me.
No, I just want to clarify so we are in the same lane. You claim that it's my fundamental human right to protest, right? But now I need to seek for permission from another human being to exercise that right.
When you listen to me, you will see where I'm coming. Adiba jelele ko nkamemfo ayete fango makwele.
Okay.
Public Order Act manna purka molu bali protest la hani ama wuli wo kama yalong ntolukas the text le read bari the wisdom member akoma yalong ka foko doronga wadani purka salo wulindi bari kunebe wo koma munebe wadano koma kamolu kumandi fo wonte ningi wadano damale la moy dorom, you will make a mistake. Which means, I'm just giving a metaphor here. Nintara sate o molulu le beje. Adu o molulu le be benta salidula. Amanjari wadanola. Wala nalma wadanal si salino. Because albeji malke. Are you understanding the metaphor?
Yeah,
now let's come back to the Public Order Act and why. Being the Inspector General of Police timbe siring. Atol galako alaftaka protest. Ntali balila wala nimbali balla, I will work with you for atolia understand ko ni manjarala. The Public Order Act natale purka to create orderly exercise of freedoms and rights, to create a space and order for the citizens to go about exercising their fundamental freedoms of and liberties without any conflict or without any obstruction. What does that mean? Being atoliko polisoliko alaftaka protest. The first thing they should ask is alaftaka protest lundima muntolemu watijima. Why do they need to know this? They want to know the place so that isaji before ku koten fana wala mo koten teje menul bina wo ku kela wala menule another activity soto amera nyi manjaw yaade. Number 2, kajibe fo kole akuo teje itoliem mellon atol mammellon. Ba nin kole akuo beje wo manyanti na yali bali. Inalbe sila le afali ko ali dula memfode anil lungo nyin. Na nyin kole akuo le jeje. Either one na jele ko modol lafta wulila nan wala nsobita nyin na ko modol be na kafulali mamea lonko itolla inten ila nganyo ni ngatolla anganyo mankilia. Hanim bi wo mati na yali balide. Sila munemu, you will work with them. Aseke atoli afo eko. Okay, nga olo nesai, we will be on the watch out. Mbajelele ko mo koten kana woke. Wala ni aje ko kole aku beje, for instance. Ya aje ko lopitano le beje. Adun tumodo nim jama siyata abe emergency fango abe traffic disruption for emergency services. Inalse wo be kachanole. American na kumomo.
Mbemogan.
So wala nantefe, it's not the Public Order Act. If I were the Inspector General of Police, mbenyin tula jele barate mo batandila. Because order nyi natale purka mol mako munem problem which wolem the police mindset. That every protest is against government and that is illegal. Nyine mu problem what? Yalo ye Ghana nyolu be for barika for koye 5 days dealer. You know what they are doing with that 5 days? The 5 days notice. I'll tell the amulet, not only.
I'll keep quiet.
Yes. Yalo ne muna na Ghana a 5 days di. It's
for the
because
police
of
to
that.
prepare.
No, not only prepare. They will look at the ground, assess for any hazards, assess for potential threats, and then come back. Minimum. So, Malafi, we use this literature, Nimu Angalter is a 19-something law. Hanimbini tata courts. Ni tata nakiti bungolto. They do court laws where lonko. They were in the 1800s. And they are still as good as today. Ntola problem menti. When we fail to execute a law properly, let's go and change it. By the time you realize, we will be changing things beyond recognition. But remember, we have to look at the spirit of the law. We need gentlemen and women at the level of the police. They will understand. In public order at manna kamolu bali. No, it has come to enhance it. So mbali encourage la menna wole munyinti ko. Omar, ninga lafta any activity kela, write to the police and listen to their argument. Ninga madia, come to Alin contact because I can give you all the arguments, man. Nal ni sit alba folale. But man laughing a fembondi just because today someone is not delivering on our expectation. We are always blaming the vehicle, not the driver's behavior. Allah diamote si ala de mbal sole mandi.
I understand Ika Memfo. I understand what you're saying. But Aziz, this is a law that has been used to abuse us. This is a law that has been even used to kill people because it has killed. We've seen it killed. This is a law that the police don't even have powers.
Okay, it's not the law, it's the regime.
Yeah, but wait a minute, as I'm coming to my
what I'm saying, Allah diamote si ala. Okay. Protest le bejang, mbatu nga fenko fa ngini mbam fana be protest la dame.
Okay.
What I'm saying here is
yes.
Yes, regimes have hide behind that law to kill people. It's not the law. This Public Order Act was here when Jawara was here. Hardly a life was lost during that time. And that's the time when people were
during Jawara, people were arrested as well because I was asked.
Yes, no, I know, but when you look at
regime, just
when you look at people are questioning this Public Order Act. A Public Order Act maintain it will not be contentious. But B is because of the way Yaya abused that. So it's again, I want to say, it's not the law, it's the regime and the individual. If I promise you,
so and that's what makes it. And that's what
that is where the problem is.
And that's what makes it problematic.
Exactly.
Yes. Is that what makes it problematic? If the law is not established in a certain way, the regime will not use the law against the people. So it's the law that empower the regime, not the regime doing otherwise. Because no, let's take an example. You made listen. You made very, very valuable point. Let's say, for example, if you are the IGP,
3 minutes, yes,
okay, you will not deny.
Overall, we got only 10 minutes overall.
Yes. So
and that is my 10 minutes, right?
That way, that you're not going to use the Public Order Act as a tool for denial and a tool for abuse.
No.
You're going to think the other way around. But this regime are using the Public Order Act because, let me say, they are now denying people permit. Let's say, for example, our first protest, they denied us permit. And that's why we went out. So that's where the problem lies. It's not just the law, it's how the regime used the law to deny, abuse, and brutalize. Like they say,
Omar,
if the law is...
I came after the police when they denied you people.
I have to come in there at some point.
I came after the police, not only on social media. I spoke to people on the ground to say that was the greatest mistake. And in fact, that was not a strength on the police. That was the start of their weakening. The denial of that permit to Gala was the beginning of the weakening of the police mandate. Are you seeing the point I'm trying to make?
Right.
It's just to understand, because the fact that they denied you, that emboldened you and emboldened civil society to stand up against the government.
Yeah, but Aziz, this is something that the police cannot do anything because the police is politicized. The police is politicized because somebody who sit there, the president decide, or Sidinjai decide if somebody should go out or not, if what you said is right or not. So in that situation, for more than now, are we saying almost getting to 25 years, 30 years, almost, we are being brutalized by the Public Order Act. We are saying that we don't want it because it's brutalizing. If we cannot amend it to say notify the police, because maybe that's lighter, notify the police. But the Public Order
Now, okay, so I'm going to ask you people, if you notify the police and police got some credible intelligence that there is likely to be a threat even to the protesters.
You think, Aziz, now with this Public Order Act, the way it is, if Gala went to the police and told them that we want to protest, and the police say that there is a serious threat, you think Gala is suicidal to ignore that?
Exactly, you're notifying them. No, wait, you're just saying notify.
The police will tell you that we cannot give you permit, boom, full stop. And then next minute, the order is coming from up. That is abuse of citizen rights.
Okay, now wait. I am against any authority hiding behind national security. I've always kicked against police saying we are denying a permit based on national security.
That is our reality.
Yes, if national security is for the people, then discuss what threats are there and see how those people can help you neutralize the threat.
If it's a threat to borrow,
for me, Omar, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do you now see where I'm coming from? They don't have any right to hide behind national security. If national security is meant to protect the citizens, there should be no secrecy in that. If there is a threat, yes.
So just
it is the police culture.
If the police detect that there is a threat or there are circumstances that did not favor the protest, you see, for us, our whole idea is not to create a situation that is going to be chaotic, right? Let's say, for example, our last protest, the protest they gave us permit. Our initial date was the 22nd.
Exactly.
When we went to the police and they tell us that the 22nd is not ideal, let's make it the 23rd. We did. But I like your analogy. But I am telling you, your analogy is far from what the police use the public order for, or what the state use the public order for. It's far apart.
But this is what the public order is talking about.
No, the public order need to talk about the language where we
find seriously, Omar, I have been in the police. Not only that, I was also a police spokesperson. But not only that, you remember the student protest where 14 students were killed?
Yeah.
It was during my time and my effort that brought the students and the police together to reconcile at the police headquarters. On that day, students were skeptical. They said they are not coming to police headquarters. I said, I want you to come, and I will allow you to say it as you see it in the presence of the police.
Yes.
So if I am saying what I'm saying, I know what I'm saying. No, I will encourage you to, yes, I will still encourage you to engage the police, write to them for a permit. I will encourage the police to do everything possible to issue it. And if there is going to be a cancellation, it's not come from them, but from you.
So that's the language is problematic, like I said. The rights I have, that's the same right the IGP have. So you want me to write to the IGP to exercise my right? That is very problematic.
So let's amend.
Let's amend and say notify the police in this duration.
Yeah, I would agree with Aziz.
Exactly. I would also agree with that and all of your analogy.
Omar,
so to ask me to seek for permission, that was problematic.
Excuse me. For the sake of continuity as a nation, we have to constrain certain rights. This is why when the president is going out, everyone leaves the way for them.
Thank you.
That's not going to change. And we have to, excuse me.
The president is passing.
No. I don't want us to romanticize some of these things. I want us to be realistic. I really love Gala, and I don't want anyone to constrain your rights. But let's not romanticize. There is a reason why we took all our resources and gave it to the president to buy guns and have soldiers escort him. It's not IGP as the human being. It's an institution. You are not subduing or submitting an application to IGP as the individual. You are saying IGP is a human like you. No, IGP is an institution.
Okay, thank you, Aziz.
Right.
Much appreciate. Okay.
That is what I want you to understand.
It's supposed to serve me, not to deny me my rights.
Exactly. So we agree on that. They should not deny you.
Right.
But the institution must exercise, and we must submit ourselves to it. We can question.
We will only submit ourselves to an institution that doesn't brutalize us, that doesn't abuse our rights, that doesn't recognize our personhood and humanity.
Exactly.
We are not going to submit to that.
I think
it's legal.
Some of you saw my post.
Thank you. I know you really did well by writing and all these things.
I posted, but I don't only post. I speak up to the top.
Okay.
If the police were not abusing this, if President Barrow was not abusing this, President Jammeh was not abusing this, nobody will talk about it. But you cannot be killing us with that law. You cannot use that.
That's where the
Mustafa, come in there and restrain these people. They have sat for 2 hours.
No, but it's time. It's time. No, Aziz.
You are acting like the IGP now. Omar Kamara, tell him he's acting as the IGP. He cannot contain my freedoms.
Okay, Aziz, thank you. What we'll do, maybe saying, Omar, we'll leave you with your final thoughts, and then we draw the curtain here. Your final thoughts about the whole thing, and then we will end it.
So my final thoughts are going to be Kavu Banku Dunguleko. Bankol mun yiri wata bi bankol mu yarongo ye banko dingol la nyantol bunya bankol mu yarongo bi afuda nyawnya ye fukarea bay la bankol kan ela banko dingol be balu kanim balu nyimana e mangsi so kono ila mansa kundal jibe mundiate yake e mangsi so kono ya je kom fukare ya alla ko lekan mo kana mo ko hormanta yatili mola mo kana mo tonye wa banku dingul la kan wala ka banko samba banku dingul la nyanto be nyamin banku dingul fongol le ke fongol la nyanto sembentu yande anu wala niya jibe the debate nyinga kele ko fonko mol camera kom because banku dingul la biggest tool to promote accountability is through the ballot box. Democracy experts will debate that for election is enough to validate democracy, right? That is because consensuously that's the only time banku dingul be agree to go to the polls. However, it's time for people to take the destiny of this country into their own hands, that speaking truth to power is not defying or disrespecting, is salvaging and self-protection from what have been happening in this country. So tell people that if you want accountability to be established, transparency to be anchored, and then for the rule of law to be respected by public officials, you don't leave them do what they do. To conclude, Mustafa, the inequality in this country cannot be dismantled just because people sit in their corners. You see, my mom, mama ka panyelo akong tululong aita marsedo nyim poto kono. A minister drives a $12 million Prado to Banjul to Marina Palace. Alamuso have a utility car funded by us, paid by us, Prata Marsedo. If you travel from Banjul to Basay today, less than 10 years, akatamale 5 kilometers, 3 kilometers under the hot sun to go to a school, to catch up for a school. It will enter in a utility car, a kata school. So the inequality is created by us. And in any country, to be fair and equal, we need to dismantle that whole idea of inequality. Okay, if you are a public official, we'll give you certain privileges. I know why we give you that privileges, because we want you to serve us back with dignity and serve us effectively and efficiently. Those privileges are not there to give you more leverage to steal from us, to abuse us, or to brutalize us. So mbafala banko dingule ko banko la nyato ta bentele blokono anfonsi wuli ngan tewol city nga jeko Gambia ke banko di muyalon ko dingolu mfamalu anona generation yet unborn ye wuru nim dignity kono ye wuru nim horomo nim buya kono ye wuru nim banko kono muyalon ko ite wulu nim fukare ya kono anin tilimbaliya anin tajirinde ya anum banko dingul damale si nyim bondi non fangol kan anum fonsi wuli nga nyim bondi fangol kan. And then this is why myself and this is why Gala and any other Gambian is standing up to speak truth to power, because at the end of the day, our collective voices is what carry our ambitions to create a future where you and I will live in a dignified life. Thank you very much for watching, and then have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Aziz, your final thoughts? In 30 seconds. Aziz, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Kamara kundankol ni mboja kundankol fa bukabe. So obviously you can see the natural. Bari abaraka bake Omar aning Aliou Mbota Jan. Biringali moy bi mbalati borta bake. Albe kelo minna albentolle kelola. And of course Tonyans are for bayatale, but we still have our voice. Nintol mawo keno atol wulta woto nyanta al celebrate lale adu Gambian kol be nyanta al celebrate lale even menul be in power is a lonko be lumbina itol be bola jele and they will still need you woto albedo ko menna alama aleali suturaje bari mbali dani lam menna dorom wolemu nsi kacha nyin nsewo prioritize over Balambaya. Balambaya should always be a final resort. Namira bi alfutata tembeleto mobe ali recognize le abiyalla kamumwele njikita ko no one will take the risk of denying you your basic rights. Wo kamalambal encourage la fana hanim bi ning al after any activity kela if it requires pour allier police all safe ali safe. I have now given you some good reasons to even put the police to task. They should give you a reason. And the reason manyan dan na doronko kule bejan. They must tell you what efforts they are doing purka wa bondi and why they think atolla taroje walala stage at this time will exacerbate the situation. For instance, just ka fokodron barole betambila ja wale atina o manyantin. They should tell you atolla taroje wo be barola tambo abimune mantoras ku silama. Because ibese kunoje. Me example do just dile la doro. Atol katanum plural. Hanin tara man la sinu naka imam pamedial. Ali mune keje men jarta kali remove. Nin tara ali silo le block. In also kacha ali move. In fact, nin police all smartanu. What they will do is ibita commander bita porala fenkole kanka fa ko mulsiata jannedi. Itaria yena yinu la petition o tabangan here de ne ta. If they have done that, nimbete futalaji. Yeah, understand? Ningo be man keno fana. Nintere ajokal be disturbing na sila yali move. Because arrest can be a strategy. But sila niye arrest for ye bondije. Why do they have to proceed and charge you? Amanjarala. Bayri sila ito la objective mukali bondi odulate ali bondile. Mune ye charge si ito lumaje. Nyine mu di kind of things adu lafta kal equip nyine la pral niye kacha baral niye kacha hormo kon. Because at the end of the day, banko mato la banko. You may not be interested in politics today, but by default, you can find yourself in leadership position.
Thank you, Aziz.
Definitely. So, nyina munna ya maroti ala baraka baki.
Barabaki, Aziz. Nay, final thoughts?
Yeah, mavla baraka baki Omar. Ye time moment pour kanajang ka na viewers to call clarify the amol member tracking Gala surrounding Gala and a lot toning. And also want to say thank you so much, Aziz, for always coming to give some little bit of wisdom. And Mustafa as usual, and the viewers as well. Until after men for dronko polisol until after make sure ko for janim benin public order act falina because anyanta falina le because fengo men ke tora fengo men ya lonko ake nakar fengo men ya lonko akela human rights tale fo e kuke woto anyanta wo ko jubela ya falin ni ma bondi no afalin so ndela la police ol nakara pamito apply ta ni a reject for that day anyanta offer dealer another alternative nyanta fo ko ita kelo na nyin lunto bari isa keno nyin lundolto because police fa tale dron ya reject and full stop ni ko ba self finti and moli rights of the pour finti hadija no way you notify bari mol ka tale yeta ye demonstration okay police all ka moy le dron ko demonstration be dulato yena ye loje ya make sure everything is peaceful ibuka mo arrest ite mo lipala ike kukela mola because isita dula beto no way jang ye demonstration okay hanin ka Gambia no fa onka jele do Gambia no fa ko one man demonstration o be ke janne andu mambo nyim banko kono ite arrest la ite ko be kala so ndel after police ole wo jubele ko ya stop President Barrow ke dictate or Sidi Njai ke dictate because ni wakita Gambia nte ka fele ko 2016 mol ka fele ko changes manke bari changes ba kata ngole kita changes so men kita wole ko ye group of people so to le mena go they are so conscious about their rights and we see the rise of Gala now we see the rise of many people. You might say they sit down there and write, you might say that they start, but people are so aware of their rights. They might be scared to exercise it. They might be scared to write. They might be scared to join the protest. They might be scared to talk about it, but they are very conscious. And that's what 2016 also did. So Barrow is not going to get away with what Yaya Jammeh has gotten away because we are tired. We are really exhausted and tired. So I will just urge the government to look at themselves again and know that they cannot continue to keep us poor and ignorant. They cannot continue that. They have to address the situation. We are paying them. And Omar said it really right. And that I'm pushing it back to the diaspora. I am saying to the people in the diaspora, this is the time to rise again and give support where it's needed. To support the cause for Gala and donate. We are more than 200,000 in the diaspora. I'm sure it's more than that, but statistics have been showing that if each people in the diaspora, each person in the diaspora give just $1, we have 200,000 US dollars. Just $1. So we can afford to do it. We can afford to spare $1 and support them, because Gambia has to change. And change would happen if we ourselves do it, and not only writing, not only protesting, but putting our money where our heart is. We live here. I am in the diaspora. I am living in Norway. I am benefiting in all the rights that any Norwegian will have in this country, despite the discrimination. Because some Norwegians fought for it. Some Norwegians worked for it. Some Norwegians did it. I am here because things are not okay at home. Let's be honest. It doesn't matter how good my job is. It doesn't matter how much houses I buy here or own, because I'm here. If things were okay at home, by now I'm at home. So if somebody else is doing it, I think what we can do is to support. We are not saying you should write. If you cannot write, Osmenga used to say it in our struggle, and I used to quote that. I quote it a lot. Ni dati je, ibulo kije. Ni buloti je, ila poso kije. If your mouth is not there, you cannot talk about it. If you cannot write about it, please take your pocket and put it there. Put your money there. Let's start that. Let's start being citizens who would make sure that we are engaging this way or that way or the other way. Especially when we have people in the Gambia with like Gala running around, young kids. I tell people, I want to retire. Honestly, I want to retire from the struggle. I want to lie down and go to the beach in Spain and lie. I don't want to do anything more about activism. I just want to retire. And I see my hope in them, in Gala, that I will retire. So please put your money. Every Gambian today watching us, every Gambian, please make it a concerted effort that $1, we can all do away with $1. Thank you so much, Omar, for the work you people are doing. And thank you so much for the preparation towards the tour, because I thought the tour was already done. But thank you for the preparation. And thank you so much, Aziz, again. We wish you all good luck in what you're doing. And may God continue to protect, bless, and guide you people in this process. Just keep it on and keep the work. And thank you so much, Mustafa, for always creating this space and the platform for us to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, on that note, before we go, Bakari is saying, Aziz, the language of the public order is problematic. All the IGP has to do is to detain a permit based on his opinion, which can be right or wrong. So that's a little comment from Bakari back to yourself, Aziz. So if you have the time, you can go through the comment box. On that note, Bemolbe Tentulambe Gaila from Sky Power, on behalf of all the civic education team, our weekly programs will return back next week, inshallah. Maybe we might get the police here lined up to come and tell us what is the selective justice or that sort of thing going on. Ahmad and Gala, thank you all for your time, energy, and effort on behalf of all the team here from Sky Power Radio and TV Services Studios in West Yorkshire Lace. Mustafa Jame behind the scene. Have a good evening.
Mama,